Happy New Year, I guess. Since it's still January, I'm going to say Happy New Year. Welcome to the January 26th through 27, 2026 board meeting. My name is Sang Oh, president of the board. Before we convene, I would like to remind everyone present that the board is a consumer protection agency charged with administering and enforcing pharmacy law, where protection of the public is inconsistent with other interests sought to be promoted. The protection of the public shall be paramount. As I facilitate this meeting, I will announce when we are accepting public comment. As the agenda details, the board has significant business to complete today, including time-sensitive closed session items. To ensure the board has sufficient time to complete all of its necessary work, I have advised the meeting moderator to allot 2 minutes to each individual providing comments. Over the past several meetings, the board has faced time constraints resulting in deferral of discussions. To address this, we are reducing public comment to 2 minutes. As a reminder, as included on agendas, the board provides contact information for individuals to provide written comments in advance of meetings should they so choose. Thank you all for your understanding on this change. We'll begin with public comments for individuals attending in person in Sacramento, followed by public comments by individuals participating via WebEx. This approach is necessary to facilitate this meeting. Before we get started, I would like to ask staff moderating the meeting to provide general instructions. Moderator?
The moderator for members of the public on WebEx. When we reach public comment, you'll be given 2 minutes to speak of a 10-second warning. I'll request to unmute your microphone, and you'll be given the time to speak. Once you're done, we'll mute your microphone and move on to our next person requesting public comment.
Is that it, Sarah? You're keeping it very short today.
Since we have a lot of items, yes.
All right. Thank you, Sarah. I would also like to remind individuals participating in the meeting via WebEx that consistent with the board's policy and with implementation of the board's new learning management system, pharmacists and pharmacy technicians attending the meeting via WebEx tomorrow, January 27th, may be awarded up to 6 hours of CE. Please review the information on the agenda and follow the instructions provided to ensure you are eligible. You will be required to register through the board's learning management system, PharmEd. I would now like to take a roll call to establish a quorum. I believe Jesse Crowley is not joining today. Trevor Chandler is not joining today. Renee Barker.
Good afternoon, present, and I do not have anybody in this room for the meeting.
Thank you, Renee. Jeanette.
Present.
Thank you, Jeanette. Jeff.
Public member present.
Thank you, Jeff. KK.
Licensee member present, and nobody under the or over the age of 18 is present in this room. Nobody is present in this room.
Thank you, KK. Claudia.
Public member present.
Thank you, Claudia. Jay.
Public member present.
Thank you, Ricardo. I think he's coming soon. Satinder Sandhu. Thank you, Satinder. Maria Serpa.
Licensee member present.
Thank you. And I think Nicole Tebow is not joining us today, and I'm here. So the quorum is established. I truly appreciate everyone's time and commitment to the board and California consumers. We have a full meeting. As always, I ask everyone participating today to be respectful of the work before the board today. We encourage participation by members of the public throughout our meetings at appropriate times. The board respectfully requests that when comments are provided, they're done so in a professional manner consistent with how the board conducts its business. Before we move to the next agenda item, I would also like to remind board members participating via WebEx to please remain visible on camera throughout the open portion of today's meeting. If you need to temporarily turn off your camera due to challenges with internet connectivity, please remember to announce the reason for your non-appearance when you turn off your camera. Moving to the agenda item 2, public comments on items not on the agenda item for future meetings. We'll now accept public comment for items not on the agenda. You're not required to identify yourself, but may do so. I would like to remind everyone that the board cannot take action on these items except to decide whether to place an item on a future agenda. Accordingly, if your comment pertains to an item on the agenda for this meeting, please make sure your comment during the public comment period specific to that agendized item. Following review of the public comments for this agenda item, I will ask members to comment on what, if any, items should be placed on a future agenda. As a reminder, this agenda item is not intended to be a discussion, rather an opportunity for members of the board and members of the public to request consideration of an item for future placement on an agenda, at which time discussion may occur. So we're ready for public comment in Sacramento. Come on up. And then the microphone, you just want to turn on, make sure the light is on, and then make sure you get it close to your mouth. There you go. Hi.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. President and members of the board. My name is Jenny Chang. I am a pharmacist and I work for the Department of Healthcare Services. But today I'm commenting for myself as an individual. So I previously submitted a petition for the board to amend its regulation 1709.1, which was initially set for today's agenda, but I withdrew the petition because it wasn't clear that I had proper standing and I did not want to waste the board's time and resources. However, I'm commenting today to share the experience that prompted me to submit a petition in the first place. Last August, in the course of my work as a pharmacy auditor, I encountered an ambiguity in Regulation 1709.1, so I utilized the board's Ask an Inspector program. Your website states that the board's inspectors and staff cannot provide legal advice, but they will assist you by identifying statutory and regulatory sections that pertain to your questions. So I emailed the inspector and asked for assistance in identifying statutory or regulatory sections that define or clarify the meaning of the term employed as used in the regulation, or to let me know if no such section existed. Inspector Rina Yacobi responded that she could not provide legal advice and I should consult an attorney. I reiterated that I was not seeking legal advice, but she repeated her answer. Frustrated, I requested contact information for someone in the board's legal division, and Ms. Yacobi did not respond. I emailed once more to request their supervisor's contact information, and that request was again ignored. I'm commenting today to let the board know about my frustrating experience with its Ask an Inspector program and the unprofessional lack of response from Ms. Yacobi. I too am a public servant for the state, and I was disappointed by the discourteous lack of response and frustrated by not being able to receive assistance with an inquiry about the board's own regulation or even the public contact information for another staff person. Members of the public should not have to resort to filing a petition or hiring an attorney to seek
10
guidance that
seconds.
should be well within the board's inspector's knowledge and that the board itself claims to provide. I believe the state holds its public servants to a higher standard than this. Thank you for receiving my comment. I trust the board will take appropriate steps to ensure accountability, public trust, and responsive public service.
Thank you. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for coming. Do we have any other public comment in Sacramento? All right, we are ready for public comment in WebEx.
All right, this is the moderator for members of the public on WebEx. If you would like to make a public comment for items not on the agenda, please click the raise hand icon, or if you're an audio only participant, you can raise your hand by pressing *3 on your device. And I do have a couple requests. First, I have Ronald Owens, and Ronald, you'll be given 2 minutes to speak with a 10-second warning. Please click the unmute me button when the prompt appears on your device. All right.
My name is,
Oh, there you are.
can I start now?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. The board knows who I am. I'm Ronald F. Owens Jr. I was the Public Information Officer at the California Department of Public Health, and I shared information in December of 2024 about what Department of Health and Human Services Secretary Javier Becerra said on April 14, 2022, when he noted about the COVID-19 vaccines. He said that we know these vaccines are killing people of color, Blacks, Latinos, Indigenous people at about 2 times the rate of white Americans. The Board of Pharmacy directed me to go to the Fed, and I shared the last time that I was with you on June 19th, 2025, that I would share with you all that I did indeed go to the Feds. On May 22nd, 2025, I delivered a 4-minute public comment before FDA's Vaccines and Related Biological Products Advisory Committee. On June 25th, 2025, I provided a 3-minute public comment for CDC's Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices. Look, went to the feds. I've shared information with you guys that these vaccines are killing people, and the ban is still playing on. I don't know what more I could do to impress that we need to start thinking out of the box. You know that there's a 400% of fetal demise at a Fresno County hospital. Did you know that there are people who are dying suddenly? There is a public health emergency going on, and the Board of Supervisors, and I've gone to 51 of them thus far. I got 7 more to go. A majority of Board of Supervisors are not
10
taking
seconds.
action to protect their citizens. This is a moral imperative for you guys to act. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for the comments.
All right, this is the moderator. Next, I have Julie Threet. And Julie, you'll be given 2 minutes to speak and a 10-second warning. Please click the unmute me button when the prompt appears on your device.
Hello, California State Board of Pharmacy, Julie Threet, Butte County again. I'm a certified expert with the National Vaccine Information Center, lead investigator for VAERSaware.com. I am vaccine injured with a VAERS report filed. I'm bereaved with a mother who's been killed by the COVID vaccine who's got a VAERS report filed. And I work for the Butte County Public Health Department where I witnessed injuries in the chair. This is my 13th public comment to you people. Back on 11/1/2023, I reported 24,731 VAERS reports filed for a California pharmacy problem, 74 deaths. As of the end of December, it's 27,263 reports. That's 203 since the last time I spoke to you in November. 94 deaths, 3 more dead people, blood on your hands. The last report filed was an extra dose administered on 12/19/2025. A patient with limited language speaking ability came to the counter in one of your pharmacies requesting a flu vaccine, but the state immunization system didn't show it because he had 2 files in the state immunization system. There's a problem with the way that these are being administered in your pharmacies. The last death, 10/23/2025, a 76-year-old man in California took a COVID Moderna shot and died that next day. You need to do something. I would put these on your agenda as a regular report. How many VAERS reports have we had filed since this last time? The last comment I'll make is personal. On October the 1st, 2025, I filed a complaint against the CVS here in Chico. The complaint is number 110289. It's been assigned to Jyoti. I'm going to say Kaur, K-A-U-R. Probably Car, K-A-U-R. I filed that on 10/1 because that pharmacy withheld a hospital.
Excuse me, I'm so sorry, but we really cannot have you discussing substantive information about complaints in this forum.
Even though it's my own personal complaint?
Correct.
Okay. So anyway, I will then send you guys an email. My only point is I want to get it resolved. I would like an answer. It's not being adjudicated. It's still being investigated. So yeah. I figured isn't this a place I bring complaints to?
This is the moderator. Time is up.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for the comment, Ms. Street.
All right, this is the moderator. Next, I have a call-in user ending in 45. And for our call-in user, you're going to be given 2 minutes to speak with a 10-second warning. You're going to press *6 on your device when you get the request to unmute.
Hello, California State Board of Pharmacy. This is Chasney Johnson speaking, Pharmacy Technician 106559. I'm so blessed to be able to attend today's full board meeting. This is the second meeting that Jessica Crawley hasn't been attending, so I just wanted to make sure she is okay and she's healthy. One of the things that I wanted to use on this platform is share some workplace suggestions. Most people are blessed to have an occupation within pharmacy with big organizations within cities of California. It would be nice to see people show up to their shift with their own pens and pencils. It's a big thing to buy children school supplies before they start school. I'm starting to watch shows like the San Diego Zoo, and employees are using the same pens some pharmacies are ordering, which disappear within a few days. I got the experience to work at a neighborhood retail pharmacy, and the supply delivery person just dropped off the supply of paper on the ground in front of the pharmacy counter in front of the workstation instead of delivering paper inside the pharmacy in a safe place. Buying our own writing tools will show how creative a person can be using their own funds to purchase a blue and black pen. I know open public comment, you cannot really answer questions, but I was hoping someone could tell me the estimated time for the 2026 pharmacy law book to release and the estimated time the board posts their agenda on the meeting section online so people like me, myself, can plan enough time before meetings to occur to read over all the agenda material within an adequate amount of time. Thank you everyone for being present and giving me an opportunity to participate in today's open public comment section of today's January 26,
10 seconds.
2026 full board meeting. Thank you.
Thank you for the comments.
All right, this is the moderator. Appears there are no further requests for public comment on WebEx at this time.
Thank you, Sarah. Members, any comments? Maria?
I know we're not supposed to discuss, but I was hoping that Corinne could share why we cannot discuss specific issues or complaints that are still being adjudicated.
You're at your
Yeah, I mean, just for the board members' information, the answer is that, you guys are the decision makers, the ultimate decision makers on, complaint adjudications. And we can't have you hearing information from a complaint before it has reached you guys. It's preliminary and it could potentially be an ex parte communication.
I know, Maria, you know the answer, but thanks for bringing that up for us so that we have a refresher. Appreciate that.
Thank you. I just want the members of the public to realize we do listen, but legally, the process has to occur legally and not, what ex parte means essentially is hearing information before the legal process, and then we'd have to all recuse ourselves and there'd be no one to vote.
Yep. Thank you, Maria. Any other comments, members? Okay, we are ready to move forward. We're ready to move to agenda item 3, recognition and celebration of pharmacists licensed in California for 40 years. The board's recognition pharmacists licensed in California for over 40 years is posted on our website, and pharmacists are provided with a certificate when they reach this significant milestone. Do we have any pharmacists in person today? No? How about WebEx?
This is the moderator for members of the public on WebEx. If you'd like to make a public comment on this item, please click that raise hand icon, or if you're an audio only participant, you can raise your hand by pressing *3 on your device. All right, and it appears there are no requests for public comment on WebEx at this time.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you. Congratulations to everyone who has been a pharmacist for 40 years or more. The board thanks for your contributions to public health. Thank you. Next, agenda item 4, discussion of possible action to approve meeting minutes. Included in the meeting materials are draft minutes for 2 meetings. We will begin with the November 5th through 6th, 2025 board meeting. Members, I welcome your comments on the draft minutes. I will also entertain a motion to approve the November 5 through 6, 2025 board meeting minutes. Members?
So moved.
Thank you, Jeanette. Seconds? Do we have seconds?
I'll second.
Thank you, Satinder. Any other comment, members? No? Okay. Oh, I think it's okay. This is for regulation. I think it just gets. All righty. We are ready for public comment in person. And we're ready for public comment in WebEx.
This is a moderator for members of the public on WebEx. If you would like to make a public comment on item 4A, please click the raised hand icon, or if you're an audio only participant, you can raise your hand by pressing *3 on your device. All right, and it appears there are no requests for public comment at this time.
Thank you, Sarah. All right, members, ready for a vote. Renee?
Yes.
Thank you, Renee. Jeanette?
Yes.
Thank you, Jeanette. Jeff?
Yes.
Thank you, Jeff. KK?
Yes.
Thank you, Claudia.
Yes.
Thank you, Jay.
Yes.
Thank you, Satinder.
Yes.
Thank you, Maria.
Yes.
Thank you. Nicole is not here, and I am here. Motion passes, and I say yes. All right, moving to the next minutes for our review, which are the draft minutes from the December 3rd, 2025 Disciplinary Petition Committee meeting. Members, I welcome your comments on the draft minutes. I will also entertain a motion to approve the December 3rd, 2025 minutes. And I think for the purposes of the meeting, we have member Sanchez joining virtually, and just want to make sure that is reflected for the minutes.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
No worries.
I have been listening to everything. I just haven't been able to communicate, but it just got resolved technically, and I do vote yes on the last motion.
Oh, thank you. If that's okay, Corinne.
I mean, the motion already passed. I think the
Okay,
record can
sounds
reflect
good.
he voted after the fact. I would request that he needs to be visible on camera.
Yes.
And
Yes, I'm
we
going
also
on
would
right now.
need to know
There you go.
if
Yes.
he's got anyone in the room with him.
Okay, Mr. Ricardo, we just need to make sure you verbally confirm there's no one under the age of 18
Yes.
present in the room. If you could
Yes,
just read-
nobody else here, just myself. And I can't get the video to go on, just to let you know.
Okay, for then, we will just assume you're not here until we get the video resolved. I'm guessing that's
Okay.
probably best for legal purposes. Okay.
Okay.
All right, let's make sure we help you with the videos. Someone can hopefully help Ricardo with the videos at the DCA team or McFall, hopefully. All right, members, we're moving to the December 3rd, 2025 meeting minutes. Members, anyone would like to make a motion or anybody has any comments before, please
Hey, Debbie.
speak.
I'll make the motion to approve December 3rd, 2025 Disciplinary
Leave on the
Petition
video.
Committee meeting.
And
Thank you, Dr. Sandhu. Do we have second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate it. And all right, just want to let Ricardo know you're not muted on my end, so just want to make sure you know. All right, members, ready for public comment in Sacramento? Seeing none, we're ready for public comment in WebEx.
This is the
Sarah?
moderator. For members of the public on WebEx, if you would like to make a public comment on agenda item 4B, please click the raised hand icon, or if you're an audio only participant, you can raise your hand by pressing *3 on your device. All right, and it appears there are no requests for public comment at this time.
Thank you, Sarah. Oh, there you are. We can see Ricardo. Perfect.
Oh,
All right.
apologies, Board Member Sanchez, you are still muted.
Oh, he's back off. Oh, well, it's all right. We have quorum. Renee, how do you vote? Renee, I don't see you on my computer screen. Hello?
This is the moderator.
man.
I also don't see
Yep.
Ms. Barker.
Yep. All right, we'll just go to Jeanette. I think for the purposes of the minutes, we're just gonna probably mark Renee as technical difficulties. Ricardo still technical difficulties. All right, we'll go to Jeanette for December 3rd.
Yes.
Thank you, Jeanette. Jeff.
Yes.
Thank you, Jeff. KK.
Yes.
Thank you, KK. Claudia.
Yes.
Thank you, Claudia. Jay.
Yes.
Thank you, Jay. Ricardo, I don't see you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Oh, there you are. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Ricardo. Satinder.
Yes.
Thank you, Satinder. Maria.
Yes.
Thank you, Maria. And I vote yes. Motion passes. Is she back? Okay, there you are. Renee, I'm going
Yeah.
back to you. Okay, there you are.
This
Thank
is
you.
Renee. So it's got logged out and just got logged back in, but I was actually gonna not vote since I did not attend that meeting.
Okay, that's fine. No problem. All right. Thanks, Renee. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for this is a little tricky with all the technical difficulties. All right, we're ready for moving on to the next agenda item 5, report by the California Department of Consumer Affairs. I would like to welcome Lucia Saldivar. We're very happy you're joining us, Deputy Director, Board and Bureau Relations with the Department of Consumer Affairs, to provide an update from the department. Thank you, Ms. Saldivar. Thanks for coming and congratulations on your appointment to the Deputy Director position. We are very happy and looking forward to working with you. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, President O, members and staff. My name is Lucia Saldivar from the California Department of Consumer Affairs. Thank you so much for the opportunity to join you today. On behalf of DCA's Executive Office, I'm excited to announce that Chief Deputy Director Christine Lawley has been named the Acting Director of the department. She enters this role following the retirement of DCA Director Kimberly Kirkmeyer. Director Lawley brings extensive experience to the position, having served in multiple leadership roles within the department since 2013. She will lead DCA in this position until a director is formally appointed by the governor's office. The Executive Office would like to thank the board and staff for their hard work and partnership last year. We are excited about 2026 and the many opportunities that await us. Next, on January 8th, Governor Newsom delivered his final State of the State address, reaffirming California's role as a national beacon for democracy and an economic engine with conscience, pushing back against federal overreach while boldly investing in jobs, education, affordability, climate action, and recovery from the Los Angeles wildfires. In addition, the governor's proposed budget is balanced for the coming fiscal year, reflecting a surge in state revenues, forecasting more than $42 billion higher than projected at last year's enacted budget. The budget does not include new significant spending proposals. Instead, it builds on prior policy successes and continues to implement critical investments in priorities, such as education, affordability, small businesses, wildfire mitigation, and more. This month also marks 1 year since the devastating wildfires that swept through Los Angeles County. California remains committed to helping survivors recover with an all-of-government approach, building on efforts that have accelerated recovery and supported communities. On this anniversary, DCA 2 reaffirms its commitment to support survivors and helping the community heal. Last year, Governor Newsom took action to assist licensees affected by the Los Angeles fires and swiftly issued an executive order to allow a 1-year postponement of renewal fees for survivors impacted by the fires that were due for renewal between January and June of 2025. DCA began sending notices this month to licensees who renewed their license in 2025 and chose this postponement option, with a reminder about the 1-year postponement and renewal fee due dates. Licensees with license types in the Breeze system can pay these renewal fees through their online account. All licensees with license types not in the Breeze system may submit their payment via mail. In addition, last year, Governor Newsom released his proposed 2025-26 state budget, which included a proposal to split DCA's oversight agency, the Business Consumer Services and Housing Agency, into 2 state agencies: the California Housing and Homelessness Agency and the Business and Consumer Services Agency. After public hearings and review by the Little Hoover Commission and the legislature, the governor's reorganization plan was enacted on July 5th, 2025. And the new Business and Consumer Services Agency will be responsible for consumer affairs, licensing and enforcement, and the California Department of Consumer Affairs. It'll be among the 8 departments in this new agency. The 2 new agencies will officially become operative this year, July 1st. DCA continues to participate in multiple agency work groups on the logistics required to transition the new agency and will continue to keep board and bureau leadership appraised throughout the months ahead. I would also like to provide the board with some reminders. Firstly, to best serve the public, it is incumbent upon all of us to ensure that we are being fiscally prudent in our decisions, especially when traveling for board business. DCA would like to remind members and staff to evaluate if a rental car is always necessary versus ride-sharing services. Carpooling is also highly encouraged when renting vehicles. We know that there may be new travel costs that board members are experiencing, such as baggage charges, so please keep receipts to ensure that you can be reimbursed. But if you have any questions, please reach out to memberrelations@dca.ca.gov for assistance. As we kick off a new year, DCA also wanted to provide a reminder about Form 700 Statement of Economic Interests filing. These forms must be filed within 30 days of assuming office or leaving your appointment, and annually by April 1st. This year's annual filing period covers the prior calendar year, which is January 1st, 2025 through December 31st, 2025. And the deadline for filing is Wednesday, April 1st, 2026. To ensure compliance, DCA is requesting that Form 700 filers complete the e-filing by Friday, March 20th, 2026. DCA board members must file a Form 700 through the FPPC's online portal. Paper filings will not be accepted. You should have received an email from FPPC with instructions on how to file your annual Form 700. But if you have any questions, once again, please contact Board and Bureau Relations at memberrelations@dca.ca.gov. We also have a few important trainings coming up for board members. DCA's training unit developed an unconscious bias training specifically for board members, and this training will be added to your LMS accounts by January 30th. It'll also be incorporated into the onboarding process for all newly appointed board members. DCA's annual President's Training will be taking place on February 24th from 10 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. This virtual training is for board presidents, vice presidents, and it serves as a forum to share best practices for presiding over board meetings. Please register online using LMS. Board Member Orientation Training, also known as BMONT, is an all-day virtual training that DCA will offer this year on April 1st, June 24th, and October 21st. This training must be completed by board members within 1 year of appointment and reappointment to the board. Please register for the first available date to be in compliance. Board members can register for BMONT using LMS. If you have any questions or need assistance accessing any of these trainings, please contact us at memberrelations@dca.ca.gov. Thank you so much for your dedicated service to protect California consumers every day. And at this time, I welcome any questions from the board.
Members, thank you, Ms. Saldivar. Do we have any questions or comments for her other than the congratulations?
Thank
I
you.
wanted to also say congrats on finishing the Hope Leadership Program. I'm also part of that program.
Oh, thank you so much. I
Congrats.
appreciate
Thanks
it.
for being here.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. And I think as we are a public agency, we have to go for public comment. So if we are ready for public comment in person in Sacramento, seeing none, we're ready for public comment in WebEx.
All right, this is the moderator for members of the public on WebEx. If you would like to make a public comment on agenda item 5, please click that raise hand icon, or if you're an audio only participant, you can raise your hand by pressing *3 on your device. All right, and it appears there are no requests for public comment at this time.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ms.
Thank you very much.
Saldivar. Welcome. Hopefully we'll see you more often. All right, next agenda item 6, presentation by the California Department of Consumer Affairs, Introduction to Strategic Planning. And just a reminder, since we're a little tight with 7 people in person, so because of legality and all that, we do need to be mindful of just stepping out, even just for bathroom breaks. So please let me know. You can't kick me under the table, so just let me know if we need a break. So please let me know. We'll take a quick break. All righty. Moving to agenda item 6, presentation by the California Department of Consumer Affairs, Introduction to Strategic Planning. In September of 2021, time sure flies by, the board finalized its 5-year strategic plan. As we prepare to again undertake strategic planning, we have invited representatives from the department to provide an introduction to strategic planning. I would like to welcome Sarah, who is also serving today as a moderator, so perfect fit, to provide a presentation. Sarah, thank you for moderating the meeting today for the board and doing double duty by also providing this presentation. The floor is yours. Thanks, Sarah.
You're welcome. All right, let me go ahead and share my PowerPoint real quick. One second, doesn't want to select the correct screen.
Well, welcome to the problems of the technical difficulties over here. It seems like the theme.
Okay, is it showing the PowerPoint now?
We just see you,
Oh,
which is great, but also no slide.
Hmm.
Up there. Yep.
Nope, that's the PowerPoint view. Okay, got there.
There we go.
Apologies. I tested it earlier and it decided it wanted to give me issues. All right. Hello, my name is Sarah Irani, and I am a strategic business analyst and facilitator with Solid Planning. And I'll be providing an overview of DCA's strategic planning process for you all. I'll try to be quick since I know we have limited time. So we'll talk about the what, why, and how of strategic planning. So what is exactly a strategic planning? A strategic plan takes into account your mission, vision, values, goals, and stakeholder feedback. It documents objectives and initiatives that are important to you as an organization. Strategic planning is the process through which fundamental decisions and actions are produced, which shapes and guides your organization, what your organization is, what it does, and why it does it. This is going to define your organization's direction for next 3 to 5 years, depending how long you want your strategic plan, and kind of outline a path from now into your preferred future. So why do we conduct strategic planning? Strategic planning is critical to making state government programs and operations more efficient and effective. The other reason it is legislatively mandated. This is required by state agencies to develop strategic plans with measurable objectives for continuous improvement processes. And lastly, strategic plans help you achieve short-term and long-term objectives. So for your strategic plan to work, we must contain specific goals and measurable objectives, as well as a plan for achieving them. So how do we create a strategic plan? At DCA, we use a 5-phase approach, and this includes surveying various stakeholder groups, reporting out on trends based on that stakeholder feedback, facilitating a strategic planning session with the board members and board executives, and we use that to identify what objectives and kind of problem areas we want to focus on for the strategic plan. So this here is our roadmap, and as you can see, strategic planning does take quite a long time, which is why we're starting early and we're starting now. There are 5 stages in the strategic planning process. We're currently in that first step, the preliminary meeting and setup, where we're doing introductions, working with the executive officer on setting things up and defining roles. And if you look at the timeline, this does take the significant chunk is taken up by the environmental scan process, which is the survey that goes out and gathering all that information and creating the report that you'll use to, determine what you want to focus on for a strategic plan. Additionally, as part of the strategic planning process, as you may be aware, the governor issued an executive order to strengthen the state's commitment to for California for All by directing state agencies and departments to take additional actions to embed equity analysis and consideration into its policies and practices. And this includes the strategic planning process. At DCA, we are driven by our consumer protection mission and common goal to support our employees and the people in the communities across California. As such, you will find that we have improved our strategic planning process to reflect our commitment to diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility. DEIA and demographic specific questions have been incorporated into our environmental scan surveys, and we do an analysis of those responses to the questions, which will be provided in that environmental scan report. And while we are doing strategic planning, you will want to kind of consider developing any DIA related goals or kind of keeping those responses in mind while we're coming up with our objectives. Such as, are there any DEIA impacts of any policy decisions that you might have while we're coming up with objectives? So talk about the strategic planning components. We use Department of Consumer Affairs uses the Department of Finance strategic planning guidelines to provide a benchmark to elevate or to evaluate a strategic plan and planning process. A sound strategic plan evaluates 3 things: where we are now, where we are going, and how will we get there. Your mission statement is part of the where we are now. Your mission statement is defines the purpose of your organization by explaining what it does. And this here is your current mission statement. During the strategic planning process, you'll have the opportunity to review this mission statement again and determine, is this still current? Do we need to make any changes? A lot of other boards and bureaus that we've worked with have added some sort of diversity, equity, inclusion, accessibility component to the mission statement as well. So that's something to consider. Won't be doing that today, but could be done during the strategic planning process. Your values are your guiding principles and on how you communicate your core priorities and your mission to your stakeholders, and also determines, kind of what's your desired culture and the things that you feel passionate about. So these are your current values, which is good. We'd like to keep around between like 4 to 7 values for programs. If we get too many, then it just gets to become too much. So this here is good, and there's also another during a strategic planning session, something we can look at to determine, do we want to add more, do we want to change them, etc. The environmental scan. So during this, when those surveys go out, we will seek feedback from both your internal stakeholders, so that's the board members, your staff, anyone who is considered internal to the board, and your external stakeholders, who is everyone outside the board. And we'll use that information to make an assessment of your organization's strengths and weaknesses while identifying opportunities and threats. And this is called a SWOT analysis, strengths, opportunities, or strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And this will basically determine, how does everyone feel the board is currently, and what they think can be improved, what they think is currently working, and we'll use that information, like I mentioned before, to determine where we want to go with our strategic plan. The where we are going is answered by your vision statement. And your vision statement illustrates a successful future where you met all your goals and objectives. I like to explain this as it's your utopia. You don't have to do anything anymore, basically, and that would be your vision. Your goals are also answered by, or the answer to the question, where are we going? And a lot of times we'll find that people will confuse goals and objectives, but they are 2 separate things when it comes to strategic planning. Your goals are going to be long-term, broad, and give general direction and action. So this is your day-to-day stuff: licensing, enforcement and compounding, ledgerage, public education, organizational development. Whereas your objectives are much more short-term, narrow, and very specific to the strategic plan. So they're going to be little short mini goals. You can kind of think of it that way, that will last for the length of your strategic plan. And your goals can also be refined during the strategic planning process, but typically these don't change very often. And then when we get to the objectives, these are going to be important. These are going to be based on important trends identified by your stakeholders in that environmental scan. So during the strategic planning session, we'll discuss, assess, and develop your objectives that you want to consider for the next 3 to 5 years. One way you can think of a strategic plan is like a house. So your mission, vision, value, and values make up the organization's foundation, which is pretty permanent and does not change except under very specific circumstances. The goals are going to be your walls or the rooms outside your house, and these are permanent but also have the potential to change more than the foundation. And then your objectives are going to be kind of like, you kind of think of it like paint and furnishing, and these get updated every 4 to 5 years. And then once you've got a approved strategic plan, the last thing we do is action planning, where we work with the management team and determine, okay, what are the actual steps that need to be done in order to get these objectives completed? And here we will evaluate resources, identify tasks, assign responsibility, establish timelines, and create performance measures. And you'll get a nice tracker to go with this as well as part of the report. So you can keep track of every objective that you're working on throughout the length of the entire strategic plan. And progress is measured with, we establish success measures, and we will also give you those tracking tools, and then you can do regular check-ins with your leadership in order to determine how much of your strategic plan you have completed. And that is all I have. Any questions?
Thank you, Sarah. Great presentation. So members, based on the information provided and for planning purposes, to ensure we dedicate sufficient time to strategic planning, I believe the June board meeting will need to begin at 9 a.m. on the first day. So there'll be a long meeting, long day of meetings. So we're planning to do that on June 24th or June 25th, depending on the schedule availability. So just keep that in mind. Do you have any questions for Sarah?
Do we have a timeline for when the first survey is going to be sent so we can keep an eye out?
Ken? I think
Yes.
it's, yeah, Sarah?
Yeah. So my goal is to have the survey published by February 9th, going out to your stakeholders and stuff. As far as board members, we'll be doing interviews, and I think we might also offer the option for a survey as well for board members. So I would keep an eye out during that week of February 9th.
All right, thank you.
And they'll set a time for you so that you guys can talk for like an hour or so. Jeanette?
Thank you for the presentation. Could you share with us in terms of your environmental scan and interviews with consumer groups and associations? Can you give a couple of examples of folks that you plan on talking with?
So as far as external stakeholders, we don't do interviews with them. We only do the survey. And that is going to be sent out to interested parties list, any basic on the board's website, any social media that you have. It'll also be on DCA's website. And I'm also hoping to try to get it on DCA's social media as well. But we'll see about that.
A follow-up to that. Thank you, Sarah.
Sure.
How do you ensure inclusion of groups that need language accessibility?
For language accessibility, do you mean different languages or like plain English?
Well, let me clarify. I mean
Yeah.
language accessibility and cultural competency.
I'm not quite sure.
So Jeanette, are you
yeah.
asking if they are providing in multiple languages, or that if they are hoping to provide it, if we are able to have someone help us get the responses in different language?
Well, I guess my question is because this is a vision, strategic plan,
Mhm.
and our state and just in terms of, we've talked last meeting about consultations, right? How do we provide consultations if we cannot communicate, or if we don't have a vehicle or a mechanism to communicate, or to understand the cultures of people who do speak English?
Got it. Sarah, so do we have any mechanisms to kind of try to gather those?
So unfortunately, if we do the survey, like if we do translation services for the survey, the board will need to pay for those. As of right now, the survey I don't believe is going to be translated into other languages. Typically, if I do receive responses in other languages, as I have with some other boards and bureaus, we try to get it translated in Google Translate as best we can. But ultimately, it's kind of up to the board to do any of those translation services. I hope that answered your question.
More comments, Jeanette? Go ahead.
Last one, sorry.
Yeah,
Just
go
a
ahead.
reminder to the board that, in the medical world, in terms of healthcare, we're required, in order to provide high quality care, we are required to provide not only language translation, but people are encouraged to create programs of cultural competency. And I'll just wait for the process to begin before I have further comment. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other member comments or questions? All right, Sarah, you
Right,
know the
thank
drill.
you.
We have to do public comment, so don't go anywhere since you're the moderator here. So we're ready for public comment in Sacramento. Seeing none, we're ready for public comment in WebEx.
All right, and this is the moderator for members of the public on WebEx. If you would like to make a public comment on this item, please click that raise hand icon. Or if you're an audio only participant, you can raise your hand by pressing *3 on your device. All right, and it looks like I do have a request from Stephen Gray. And Stephen, you'll be given 2 minutes to speak with a 10-second warning. Please click the unmute me button when the prompt appears on your device.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much for this opportunity. It may have been covered in the previous statements and discussion, but I want to make sure that I understand. Will the strategic planning session be open to the public, either remotely or in person? And if it's in person, where do you think it will be scheduled to be? Thank you.
Thanks for the comments, Dr. Gray. It'll be part of the board meeting, so it'll be here most likely. The odds are here in this room.
Thank you.
And obviously WebEx and in-person participation will be welcome.
All right, and this is the moderator. It appears there are no further requests for public comment at this time.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you again. We look forward to it. It was very fun back in 2021 when we did that. So look forward to doing it again. Sure. Time flies by. Okay, members. So next agenda item is 7, discussion of and possible action related to the proposed amendments to California Code of Regulations, Title 16, Section 1707.4, related to central fill pharmacies, including review of comments received during the 45-day comment period. This could take a little bit while, so I'm just going to survey members here if you're okay. No need to break. We good? Oh, KK. KK?
Can we take a 5-minute break if you don't mind?
Sure. We'll come back at 2 p.m. 7-minute break. All right. We'll see you at 2. Sorry, it's my little OCD. I like to be done at round up. Okay. See you back at 2. Break because we're all just chit-chatting, So get back on it. All right. It's all right. Renee, are you back?
Yes, I am.
Thanks, Renee. Where do we go next? Jeanette. Oh, Jeanette's going back to her seat. We're all just chit-chatting over here. Jeanette?
Here.
Thank you, Jeff.
Here.
Thank you, KK. Uh-oh. The man of the hour who asked for a break is not back, so we shall come back. Gladia.
Present.
Thank you, Claudia. Jay?
Present.
Thank you. Ricardo?
Yeah, present.
Ricardo Satinder?
Present.
Thank you. Maria?
Here.
Thank you. I am here. We'll just go on because KK is virtual and we have 7 on here, so I think we can get started. So next agenda item 7, and if someone can just keep an eye out for KK's return, so I'm sure he would like to participate in this discussion on agenda item 7, discussion of and possible action related to proposed amendments to California Code of Regulations, Title 16, Section 1707.4, related to central fill pharmacies, including review of comments received during the 45-day comment period. The next item for our consideration is the board's pending rulemaking related to proposed amendments to California Code of Regulation. Oh, I see KK. KK, are you back?
Yes, sir. Licensing member
Thank you.
present.
Thank you, KK. KK is here. Section 1707.4 related to central fill pharmacies, as you may recall, in response to public comments received requesting to clarify on the board's central fill pharmacy regulations, the licensing committee undertook a review of the regulations starting back about 2.5 years ago. This review included presentations from 3 entities, and the committee enjoyed significant public comment, and we discussed this topic thoroughly during the initial rulemaking process. Following that work, the board voted to initiate a rulemaking to update its regulation. As indicated in the meeting materials, the 45-day comment period began on October 17th, 2025 and concluded on December 1st, 2025. As the meeting materials indicate, the board received stakeholder comments. Today, we will consider the comments received to determine what action is appropriate. You'll note that in addition to the cover memo, the meeting materials include several items. The proposed text released for the 45-day comment period. Board staff prepares summarized comments with recommended comment responses, and then the board staff recommended modified text. So that's probably really important, the modified text, and copies of the actual comments received during the comment period, all in sequence of the PDF documents. I trust everyone had an opportunity to review the materials. As I open up for discussion, I want to note that my review of the comments appears to indicate that stakeholders may be confusing the board central fill pharmacy model with a mail order pharmacy model. I highlight this because and appreciate that the staff are recommending language to clarify this point. As you are aware, the licensing committee is reviewing various pharmacy business models and has noted that pharmacies may fall into more than one business model. I believe the comments received highlight this scenario. I strongly encourage us to keep models separate to allow for more precise regulation if necessary. And for educational purposes to our members, if necessary, I can kind of, on my own words, explain in general what central fill pharmacy model versus mail order pharmacy model is. Or any pharmacist members can try to take on that if you are interested in that, but we'll get back to it. I have reviewed the meeting materials, including the staff recommended responses to comments and the proposed regulation language. I believe the recommendations as presented are appropriate and address concerns raised, which mainly are mail order pharmacy, central fill pharmacy process difference. I personally believe it is important to keep central fill a separate area focused on this regulation, and a business can, and I'm confident, figure out a process to ensure that if patient elects or is offered to do so, they can mail the prescription via a process a business can develop by pharmacy software system and integration. Members, I welcome your thoughts, and after your comments, I would also entertain a motion if you believe such action is appropriate. And do we have a motion displayed on the slide? Possibly not, so I can, okay, perfect. Oh, there we go. Our regulation motions are always a mouthful. Okay, members, do we have any comments? I'm sure we do.
I can start.
Thank you, Maria.
Throw my toe in here first. First of all, I appreciate the efforts of not only the licensing committee, but staff in the detailed presentation of the regulatory package. And I appreciate all the stakeholder engagement. We got a lot of feedback, and I thought all the feedback was very interesting, and some of it was very enlightening. So I really do appreciate consumer feedback. Two areas that I wanted to speak more on were on response number 10, which resulted in the change in section C2B about originating pharmacy, and it just got me deja vu. We had lots of discussions about refill pharmacies and originating pharmacies. So I appreciate that that was changed in C2B, but I think there's an opportunity to also change that in 5. If you look at 5, it's a mouthful, and it could be very much easily changed to talk about the originating pharmacy. It says there now, the pharmacy which refills the prescription and the pharmacy to which receives the refill prescription is provided for dispensing to the patient. That's just a lot of words that could be replaced by originating pharmacy. So then it could read, the pharmacy which refills the prescription and the originating pharmacy shall each be responsible. And so I thought that was consistent with the request in number 10. That's the easy one. Number 11, I found that kind of fascinating, and this is not an area where I practice, and so I'd like to hear more about it, and maybe during public comment. But the request was to add that the patient is provided written information, either written or electronic, and the staff has added the word or electronic. It made me a little concerned that some patients may not receive notification if they don't have electronic information like an email or a text or other kinds of ways. And I think when we discussed that the patient be informed, that we were visualizing the patient is informed on the product or in the materials given with the product. So they were informed, and we knew that they were informed. So I have some concerns about the words or electronic information. That's all I had. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria. Anybody? No comments at Tinder?
It seemed like the comments that I wanted to make, the staff did such an excellent job of incorporating. So
okay,
it seemed like a.
Look at that. Look at that. That's good to hear. All right. And I'm going to virtual world here. I see KK, Renee, Ricardo. You guys are not raising your hand. So we're looking good. Okay. Wow. So we need a motion, members. Anyone wants to take a stab at that? Jay? Hello? Oh, there we go. Maria?
I will make the motion. The recommended motion, I'll read. Accept the board staff recommended comment responses and modify regulation text consistent with the board's discussion for a 45-day comment period. Additionally, if no adverse comments are received during the 45-day comment period, authorize the executive officer to take all steps necessary to complete the rulemaking process and adopt the proposed language text at section 1707.4. Further delegate to the executive officer the authority to make technical or non-substantive changes as may be required by the control agencies to complete the rulemaking file.
Thank you, Maria. Do we have
I'll
second?
go ahead and second it.
Thank you, Ricardo. Appreciate it. Okay, well, that was smooth sailing, but we'll see. Here we go. Sacramento, we have public comment. Man, we've got a quiet crowd again. Hello.
Good afternoon, everyone. Lori Walmsley on behalf of Walgreens. First, I'd like to thank the board and the board staff for your review of the comments and many of the changes that the board has made and your process on the whole entire regulation overall. The one request that I would like the board to discuss a little further is the ability for the central fill pharmacy to be located out of state. With the board's jurisdiction over non-resident pharmacies, I really don't see any reason why the board wouldn't allow a central fill to be located out of state. The board has fine authority, the board has inspection authority, and allowing it to be located out of state may also increase the utilization in the state. So I appreciate the board's work on this. Thank you.
Thank you for the comments, Lori. Okay, seeing no other public comment in Sacramento, we're ready for public comment in WebEx. Sarah?
All right, this is the moderator for members of the public on WebEx. If you would like to make a public comment on this item, please click the raise hand icon, or if you're an audio only participant, you can raise your hand by pressing *3 on your device. All right, and I have a request from Stephen Gray. Stephen, you'll be given 2 minutes to speak and a 10-second warning. Please click the unmute me button when the prompt appears on your device.
Thank you again for the opportunity to comment. First, a little background. I opened the first central fill pharmacy for Kaiser Permanente, probably the first central fill pharmacy in the country, in 1995. Built in 1995, opened in 1996. And we did that to allow more pharmacists to be actively involved at the local pharmacy in prescription consultation and other clinical services. And it was a big help to the staffing at local pharmacies. And so just to give that background. Also, I want to call attention to the board that they may not know the history of Regulation 1713, subdivision A as in Apple, as it relates to this regulation. If you look at that 1713A, it allows where a prescription may be sent for pickup by the patient. And 1713A actually predates by many years the central fill pharmacy concept. And it allows a prescription to be sent to another pharmacy to be picked up by the patient. And this is very important, especially for our homeless population and others, and also where they can get advice from a pharmacist. So I want to be sure that the board did not address 1713A, but it is a distinct regulation different from the central fill. You will also notice that 1713 allows delivery at a home, at a place where the patient will be getting care, and a place where they work if they have a job or so forth. And those are all very important provisions that are in a separate regulation, and I presume, since it wasn't touched, are separate from the concept of central fill pharmacy. Thank you.
Thank you for the comments, Dr. Gray.
All right, this is the moderator. It appears there are no further requests for public comment at this time.
Thank you so much. Okay, members, we heard a couple public comment, and any comments before? We're ready for vote. Okay, we're ready for vote, members.
President O?
Yes.
So just circling back to the addition of or electronic information, at this time, I'm not in support of that change for the commenter on commenter 11. So I'm not supportive of or electronic information. That'd be a way of notifying the patient that the prescription was filled elsewhere. Just to
Okay.
state that.
Okay, Maria, so then we need to probably clarify that among the discussion here. So your motion is to specifically saying that you do not want it to include electronic, and it must be a written. Now I'll just, okay, so here, I'm gonna have to open the can of
So
worms.
my suggestion, because I was hoping to hear some comments on it.
I
I had a
know.
question and I wasn't firm about, I'm on the fence, but since there was no response to it, I think I'm going to lean towards that C3, C3, where the addition of or electronic.
So can we then,
that's the part.
okay, so can I just ask you what you're, okay, so because in a central fill model, in a very traditional central fill model, because nobody goes to drop off prescriptions at the pharmacy anymore, right? It's always all electronic. So the doctor calls it in. So prescription is already called into a pharmacy. So a lot of times the patient is not physically there. And so can we possibly contemplate another method, at least like oral? Because I think the challenge is, I mean, I get that this is not a consent part. This is a part where after it's done, filled by the central fill pharmacy, that once you get it, that you are just being notified that this was filled by the central fill pharmacy. That's my understanding of this text. So I don't really know how significantly different or written or electronic, I guess that's where I'm trying to get it. Like, I feel like you get a piece of paper versus you get an email. It's to me like,
So I guess I'm maybe, like I said, this is not in my area of practice. And so what I visualize is what I see in some of the larger pharmacies that fill new prescriptions, but their refill prescriptions are coming from an offsite secondary pharmacy, right? So the refills are done over there, they get delivered to their pharmacy, and then the patient comes and picks it up at their pharmacy. That's the situation I was visualizing, right? And I think there's language in here that talks about the names of the pharmacy would be both printed on there. So that essentially
Could
takes
be, yeah.
care of that
Could
too.
be, yeah.
But so if I'm as a traditional patient picking up my refill, I would not expect the pharmacy to be emailing me anything. Because I'm just coming to pick up my hypertension medication. And it just so happens that my XYZ pharmacy doesn't fill refills here. They have a sister pharmacy that fills the refills, delivers to them, and I pick them up. I just don't know that much about that, so I wanted some more information, but we didn't get that much from public comment.
So would you be okay if it is just a written information? So you're just okay, not electronic at this point? Or are you just hoping to gain more information? Because in reality, I think it's not as much of a significant difference in terms of.
And maybe times have changed. I know that when we originally looked at at this regulation, at that time, the thought was it was important for the patient to know that this was happening.
Yeah.
Is that no longer the case? That's, I guess, a bigger question.
I think a lot is happening in this pharmacy space. So let's put that out there. Go ahead, Satinder.
So I
And then I'll
think
go to
in
you.
this scenario, Maria, if the consumer or patient calls into the pharmacy, there's always a tracking. They can relay that right there when the patient comes to pick up in the verbally. They can also, there's usually some sort of notation. They can easily tell where the prescription was filled. So electronic it just provides them more flexibility. I don't see any issues. Like even it's not just the refills, even the new prescriptions could be routed to be filled at central fill prescriptions, and they would be either directly shipped to the patient or it could be they could be coming to pick it up. So it's just allow all kinds of flexibility to patients that are consumers that are now in these remote areas and they may not be going to the pharmacy and they prefer just to be mailed to them so they could get information electronically. If I'm understanding you right, I think the way it's worded, it would serve the consumer. They would know where it's coming from.
Thank you. I wanted some more information. It sounds like the consensus is to keep it.
Okay. Are you okay? Okay. And then I'll go to you, Claudia, and then I'll go to you, Jeanette. So Claudia, and then.
I think the comment was asking us to just advance the use of technology. So the way I read it is it just provides the consumer more information, more options. So the way I read it, and or electronic information. I know we also talked about the labels having very limited space. So for me, when I read this, it signaled that, there's another option for them to get additional information outside the label that's coming on the prescription. So for me, it was a positive thing.
Well, just to add, I think a pharmacy is required to, really, if you look at it, the amount of paper we use is insane. Like, if you really look at the rim of boxes that I go through in a month, I I kid you not, I'm killing trees like left and right. And I feel very terrible, but that's the requirements by the FDA and us and everybody else, right? So anything to do to promote a little less paper, if that's okay with a patient, like, I mean, that's where I'm kind of hoping to land. Jeanette?
I just want to appreciate the comments. I too read it as an option, but I appreciate your comments. I just wanted to clarify that electronic includes texting because texting universally is more accessible than email.
I don't know who to look to see if that is, but I'm from my previous discussion from previous regulation on something else, I'm pretty sure that it is, but I think Jennifer is the one who's handling this.
Hi, this is Jennifer. It would include texting.
Oh, it was auto refill regulation. That's what it was. Yes, brings me back memories. Okay, so now that we had a little bit of discussion, Maria, are you okay? Now, I guess in terms of motion, Jennifer, is the motion that is on the floor, is that acceptable for us to
Yes.
proceed and vote?
Yes, the
That
current motion is
discussion is
acceptable.
contained, and from our discussion, that's clear enough that we're leaving electronic as a motion?
Yes, correct.
Okay, okay. All right, and any other comments, members?
Just
I
wanna
know
say-
this is
Just
a-
thank you for all the comments that came through from the public.
Of course. I know this discussion can go on for hours, going back to explaining all the models of central fill pharmacies and mail order pharmacies and the mixing the two and all that, and where the medication's coming from, where the prescription is stored, and where the prescription record is maintained at which pharmacy, and inventory record keeping, and which pharmacy keeps up with which inventory. And I'm sure there will be businesses who will resolve on their own how best to take care of their patients. So hopefully we are proceeding here. So Renee, how do you vote?
Yes.
Thank you, Jeanette.
Yes.
Thank you, Jeff.
Yes.
Thank you, Kiki.
Yes.
Thank you, Claudia.
Yes.
Thank you, Jay.
Yes.
Thank you, Ricardo.
Yes.
Thank you, Satinder.
Yes.
Thank you, Maria.
Yes.
Thank you, and I vote yes. Motion passes. All right, next agenda item 8, Communication and Public Education Committee report. I now turn the meeting over to our Vice Chair. Unfortunately, Member Tebow cannot join us today, so our Vice Chair of the Public Communication and Public Education Committee, Jay, will be providing the report. Jay, the floor is yours.
Great. Thanks a bunch, President O. On behalf of the chairperson, Tebow, and the Communications and Public Education Committee, I'm pleased to provide the board with a summary of the committee's discussion from our January 8th, 2026 meeting. Thank you to all my fellow board members, Renee Barker, Claudia Mercado, Ricardo Sanchez, and Chairperson Tebow. While I was unable to attend the meeting in person, I did watch the live stream. I thank my fellow committee members for their spirited discussion during the committee meeting. It was actually really a pleasure to watch that happened. You guys really went in. The first item for discussion is a summary of discussion and education materials on buprenorphine. 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 For some background information, you may recall during the February 6, 2025 board meeting, the board received a presentation from representatives of the California Bridge Program that discussed challenges some patients experience when prescribed buprenorphine for treatment of opioid use disorder. During this discussion, the board referred development of education materials to our committee. As noted during prior discussions on the topic, while buprenorphine is an opioid medication because of its unique properties and intended use, pharmacists should consider such prescriptions differently when exercising their corresponding responsibility. As we learned during the presentation and discussion during the meeting, doctors and healthcare advocates described instances where patients were denied prescriptions. In the June 2025 committee meeting, members reviewed the draft educational materials, which were intended to be provided through the subscriber alert, the newsletter, and the posted board's website. Following discussion during the June 2025 meetings, the materials were sent back to the staff to refine. Staff updated the draft based on member feedback and also received and incorporated changes recommended by an expert in this area. During our recent meeting, the committee reviewed and revised version, which can be found in attachment 1. The committee believes that the education materials are now appropriate for release and dissemination. Members, do you have any questions or comments? Great.
Renee.
Oh, Renee?
Yeah, okay. So I just wanted to clarify that the attachment 1 version was not the version that was a part of the meeting. So are you saying that this looks to me like attachment 1 looks like the original that was updated before the meeting? Can anybody clarify? Because they're different.
I actually don't know. Can anybody clarify?
Our public information officer and is back there. So Sarah, if you can, it's okay to have a little clerical error. So just let us know if that's
I
the
think
case.
there was in the minute, I'm sorry, in the agenda and the materials for the actual the committee meeting, there was a version which I think is now in draft 1 here. And then there was an update, which was the review by the expert person who did a mighty fine job glowing it up. And then this one, but it looks like the one that I'm looking at from that is not what was posted. I hope that's clear.
Okay, we're checking.
Okay.
Thanks, Renee, for bringing that up. Very appreciative. So was the correct version posted on the communication and public education meeting materials during the
Yes.
last meeting?
Yes.
Okay.
So I think, I know that they're checking, but I think from a process standpoint for the committee meeting, a version was released and then we received feedback from the experts. So then we provided an updated attachment for the committee to consider. And what I'm guessing, I don't know, while we're checking, I'm guessing what maybe happened was the version that the expert provided that we received a little close to the last meeting was inadvertently mixed up with the one that's included in the meeting materials.
Got it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I see. Okay, you're correct, Renee. I think that I don't know for fact because I wasn't at the meeting, but I think that there is a different version that is more updated, is supposed to be attached to this version. So, but I don't think any action is necessary. So as long as we're okay with it, proceeding with our committee's work, I'm sure we can proceed.
Yeah, I think it would just to be sure that the correct version, the updated one would be the one that would move forward.
Of course, Renee, thanks for catching that. A compounding pharmacist with every little details. Perfect work. Good job. Bye, Jay.
All right, thank you. We'll now open for public comments. Are there any members of the public in Sacramento location who wish to provide comment on this agenda item? It's feeling like a no. Moderator, are we ready for public comment from individuals participating via WebEx?
This is the moderator for members of the public on WebEx. If you would like to make a public comment on this item, please click the raise hand icon, or if you're an audio only participant, you can raise your hand by pressing *3 on your device. All right, and it appears there are no requests for public comment at this time.
Thank you. I'll now bring the discussion back to members. Do you have any final comments? As it appears we have an agreement that the materials are appropriate. Staff will finalize and post materials on the board's website and include information in the next issue of Script.
Yes.
Great. All right, let's move on to B. Summary of discussion of public education materials related to the federal 3-day rule. The next item in the committee's report is a summary of discussion of public education materials related to the federal 3-day rule. The notice can be found in attachment 2. Let's hope this is the right attachment. For some backgrounds, Businesses and Professions Code Section 750 requires each board that licenses a prescriber to develop informational and educational material regarding the federal 3-day rule to remain in compliance. The 3-day rule material will be released every year. The purpose of the law is to increase prescriber awareness of the existing medication-assisted treatment pathways to serve patients with a substance use disorder. The Department of Consumer Affairs provided materials for the distribution by all healing arts boards by December 31st, 2025. Staff posted the materials on the website and sent out a subscriber alert to licensees meeting the statutory deadline. Given the annual requirement during the meetings, members reviewed the notice and agreed that the information provided is appropriate. Members also noted that the requirement to disseminate the notice on an annual basis provides a helpful reminder to licensees about federal rule. Members, do you have any comments? Great.
All good.
Okay. Thank you. We'll now open for public comments. Let's begin with public comment from individuals participating in the Sacramento location. We got none. Moderator, are we ready for public comment from individuals participating via WebEx?
This is the moderator for members of the public on WebEx. If you would like to make a public comment on this item, please click the raise hand icon, or if you're an audio only participant, you can raise your hand by pressing *3 on your device. All right, and it appears there are no requests for public comment at this time.
Thank you. I'll now bring the discussion back to members. Do you have any final comments? If not, I'll proceed to the next agenda item. Great. So C, members, next on our agenda is a summary of discussion of master calendar of public education campaigns. The committee has several strategic objectives related to its goal area of the board's strategic plan. To ensure such objectives are met, staff has developed a master calendar to include dates and tasks for the 2026 year. The calendar is intended to be a living document and provide the committee with some of the items that staff will be working on for 2026. During the meeting, members suggested the calendar be updated to include presentations that board staff may provide to schools. Members are more generally discussed education provided to licensees regarding new legal requirements and changes in law. Members requested a subscriber alert to be released that includes consolidated lists of recently signed legislation. During the meeting, Chairperson Tebow also requested that committee members be provided with copies of the messaging related to the various campaigns throughout the year. Since the meeting earlier this month, the calendar has been updated to reflect the months that staff typically provide such outreach to California schools, including an offer for presentations. Additionally, staff created the consolidated link for recently signed legislation and other resource guide for licensees. This information has been posted on the board's website and a subscriber alert was released. Further, consistent with master calendar on January 12th, National Pharmacist Day, the board released a message thanking pharmacists for their continued commitment and dedication to California patients. Members, there are several attachments related to the items I just discussed. Attachment 3 includes a copy of the proposed calendar. Attachment 4 includes a copy of the resource guide. And attachment 5 includes a copy of the communication to pharmacists for National Pharmacist Day. Members, do you have any comments?
I have one, Vice Chair. So my turn to be type A OCD person, I guess. On the calendar 2026, there's this random gap between the dots, and I think that it's supposed to be something was supposed to be there and it's not there. So hopefully we can have Sarah double check that it's just some kind of a formatting issue occurred when it was transitioning from Word to PDF. So because I think that there's supposed to be something there. So that's all. But it's a great, I'm really happy that we're doing this master calendar.
Thank you. We'll now open for public comments. We'll begin with the public Sacramento comments from individuals participating in Sacramento location. We've got none. Moderator, are we ready for public comment from individuals participating via WebEx?
This is the moderator for members of the public on WebEx. If you would like to make a public comment on this item, please click the raise hand icon, or if you're an audio only participant, you can raise your hand by pressing *3 on your device. All right, and it appears there are no requests for public comment at this time.
Thank you. I'll now bring the discussion back to members. Do you have any final comments? If not, we'll proceed to the next agenda item.
So on the calendar too, we have listed that that they can access information if you subscribe through the website or through Twitter. So should we update the name for that social media platform to X? Or should we say social media platforms since we're working on adding additional ones?
Yes, we can totally make that change as well.
So do you guys want to do social media?
If it's
we wanna-
agreeable, we'll maybe just like put EGs and put some of the various ones, if that's okay, while the board's landing on social media kind of thing, if that's agreeable.
Yeah, that's good. Does that work with you guys? Great, thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? All right. So D, members, next on our agenda is a summary of discussion of the draft notice on how to file a complaint. As you may recall, Assembly Bill 1503 established a requirement for a chain community pharmacy to post in a prominent place for pharmacy personnel a notice that provides information on how to file a complaint with the board. To highlight, this is a notice for pharmacy personnel, not for consumers. The draft notice provides information about how to file a complaint with the board, also providing a reminder about the board's dedicated email address to receive notification regarding conditions that may present harm as defined in the law. As drafted, the sample notice also includes a few QR codes. The QR code on top of the notice would take the individual to the board's webpage where they can find the complaint form and a FAQ on the complaint process. The address is included on the notice, letting licensees know where to mail their complaints. The second QR code at the bottom of the sample notice would take the individual to the page with relevant pharmacy laws. The notice is a sample that pharmacies can use. However, the pharmacy can choose to develop their own as well. The legal requirement to post a notice took effect on January 1st, 2026. As was discussed during the committee meeting, the sample notice provides licensees with a general understanding of how to comply with the new requirement. During the meeting, members noted general agreement that the draft notice underscoring that the notice is for pharmacy personnel members suggested to make the title of the notice how to file a complaint with the California State Board of Pharmacy. Staff suggested changing the wording for the compilation of laws to say, scan here for a compilation of relevant pharmacy laws. Since the meeting, the changes mentioned have been made to the sample notice and are reflected in attachment 6. Members, do you have any questions?
Yeah, I have a comment. It says that the prominent place for pharmacy personnel, it doesn't really specify. Could it be outside of the pharmacy, like break rooms, or doesn't really state that it any location? So I'm just curious as to, is there, pharmacy can choose wherever?
I'm going to boldly say, I think it could be anywhere that the business determines it's prominent.
I'm fine with it. I just don't want like interpretations to be like, okay, they're expecting a certain place, and if it's not there, then it's not
Well,
compliant.
Satinder, you tell us what you think. And
I think it should be a discussion of the business wherever they, more allow them flexibility as long as we're there, yeah. As long as there's the employees can see it.
I agree.
Was there any discussion about the, I can't think of the right word, the figure, the picture, the mortar and pestle? That's the same or similar to what we have for required posting at all pharmacies? It just seems very similar. Could they be easily mistaken? Did any public comment about that or any discussion about that? Do you remember?
The committee didn't talk about that specifically, Maria. I think that the committee was, focusing on the fact that this is for the employee, so it's not, it's not going to most likely be where the notice to consumer poster is because the intended audience is different. So I think that, that there was no discussion. Having said that, this is a sample notice that, it's intended to just help guide people that are wondering what could potentially comply with the law. I think if the board wants to have discussion about, defining where prominent place is or, mandating a specific notice, we're probably entering into regulation world.
To Maria's point, I think we can actually just add our California Board of Pharmacy logo just to brand it. I think, is there opportunity for us to do that? Because all we have is text, and I know we have a nice logo and it's part of our brand. Is that okay, Maria?
Sounds good.
So I totally missed because I'm so focused on what we have currently, that this is a sample and not a required posting.
Exactly.
I think that that would be, I don't know how,
Do you want to maybe put a disclaimer at the bottom saying that this is just a sample notice that,
we're so used to just posting what the board sends us.
right, exactly, yes, yeah. Like maybe at a,
So just confirming, so if I'm tracking what we're talking about here, we're going to add the board's logo, but then we'll also just say this is a sample, like put some sort of disclaimer that it's a sample notice and maybe reference the law that's requiring the employee posting notice.
yes.
Am I picking up what you're laying down? Okay, thank you.
Any other comments? All right, thank you. We'll now open for public comment. We'll begin with the public comment from individuals participating in the Sacramento location. Looks like we have none. Moderator, are we ready for public comment from individuals participating via WebEx?
This is the moderator for members of the public on WebEx. If you would like to make a public comment on this item, please click the raised hand icon, or if you're an audio-only participant, you can raise your hand by pressing *3 on your device. All right, it appears there are no requests for public comment at this time.
Thank you. I'll now bring the discussion back to members. Do you have any final comments? If not, I'll proceed to the next agenda item. Okay, cool. E, next is a summary of discussion of update from the Communication and Public Education activities by staff. The board released its November 2025 newsletter. The issue highlighted changes in pharmacy law and provided updates on the reporting of medication errors and provided education on a variety of topics, including provisions for pharmacist initiate immunizations, routine inspection outcomes, and the board's citation and fine program. More recently, I'm pleased to report that a special edition newsletter on AB 1503 was released after the committee meeting. As indicated in the meeting's materials, the newsletter was initially released on January 12th and a corrected version posted on January 15th. Upon posting the corrected version, the board released information highlighting the changes, noting that due to an editorial oversight, a selection of dispensing hormone therapy did not become effective. The corrected version of the newsletter removed that section of information. In addition, the corrected version also clarified that the board's authority to conduct inspections of non-resident pharmacies becomes effective July 1st, 2026. The newsletter can be found on the board website, and a notification of the release was sent in a subscriber alert and posted on X. Also, you can find a list of presentations and trainings by individual staff members in attachment number 7 and media inquiries in attachment number 8. Finally, based on prior direction from the committee and prior to the January 2026 committee meeting, staff met with the DCA communications team and discussed options on how to increase the board's presence to stakeholders. During the committee meeting, members received information about possible recommendations to increase the board's social media presence. Committee members and staff discussed the board's current communication tools, including the board's subscriber alert system and X account. Members considered several potential impacts to expand the use of social media. Further, the committee discussed the reaching out to DCA for education to learn more about the missed opportunities when not using social media, AI, the security risks such as bots and scams, the importance of Public Records Acts, PRA requests, and record retention in the comment section of a post, Americans with Disabilities Act compliance, and identity fraud and risk. Members considered outreach to consumer groups and a campaign to remind patients not to use AI for medical advice in place of a pharmacist. Members also noted that the board's communication style is somewhat rigid and can be enhanced by a more acceptable or more approachable style that resonates with members of all ages. Members agreed that should the board expand its use of social media, it should focus on one-way communication. Consistent with the direction of the committee, staff created visual graphics for listserv, which can be utilized for future subscriber alerts. Additionally, the board's logo will be included as a footer of all future subscriber alerts. Members, do you have any comments?
Yes, we also mentioned that we were interested in connecting with the California Department of Technology as a guiding resource for us if they were available.
So the committee is requesting that staff reach out to see if it's possible for them to come and give a presentation at a future meeting. We have not done that action yet. I apologize.
No, it's okay. I just wanted to make sure we included it in there.
Any other comments? Okay, thank you. Moving to public comment. Are there any members of the public Sacramento location wish to provide comments on this agenda item? Looks like no. Moderator, are we ready for a public comment from individuals participating via WebEx?
This is the moderator for members of the public on WebEx. If you would like to make a public comment on this item, please click the raised hand icon, or if you're audio only participant, you can raise your hand by pressing *3 on your device. All right, and it appears there are no requests for public comment at this time.
Great, thank you. I'll now bring the discussion back to the members. Members, do you have any final thoughts? Okay. That completes the report for the Communication and Public Education Committee. President O, I return the meeting to you and thanks.
Thank you, Vice Chair Newell. I really appreciate your time and thanks for providing the report. Okay, so we just zoom through everything. Now the next agenda item 9 is closed session. I would like to thank members of the public for your participation today. As indicated on the agenda, the board will now convene in closed session to discuss the items set forth on the agenda. Recess for the day will immediately follow closed session, and there will be no other items of business discussed today. Please note, recess for the day may not be viewable on the webcast. Members of the public, thank you for joining the meeting. And for our members, we'll start in about 10 minutes. That gives enough time for everybody to. All right, we'll start at 3 o'clock as per the Ann Sodogren's request. So we'll have 13-minute break. We'll return at 3 o'clock. Thank you.